offices to help us make your dreams come true. 255-2126. NCCU, your community financial partner.
I get up.
Boy, I hungry.
Wait, come see that.
Take advantage of Perky's Pizza's college student discount. Spend $10 to $50 and get 10% off, or spend $51 and up for a 15% discount. Flash your ID and save big today.
Welcome guys, welcome, good evening, welcome to the show, good evening, come on down, the bell is rung, class has begun, it's time to get cracking, lacking, we got a show here for you guys, got an exciting night here for you. Welcome to Jael Joseph Live. Thank you so very much for joining me. I saw I was eating oats, and you ever have oats and you brush your teeth right after because you want to keep tasting the oats, and then you can get a little piece of the oats. I make oats really well, so what can I say? I can have oats every day. So I'm having an after effects of the oats. Welcome one and all. Don't mind me. Get on here. Hi Tara. Oh Tara, top fan, super fan. I've logged in. Come on down guys, share the live. Love the folks. The YouTube is popping tonight. The YouTube is popping, and I love that for you guys. Get on the YouTube. Log on right now on the YouTube. That's why I'm taking the comments. I ain't taking comments nowhere else except on the YouTube page. So I want to say thank you very much to those of you who are locked in on YouTube. Welcome to the show. Those of you who are on my other platforms, those of you on Facebook, that's Black Island Girl, Jael Joseph Live, Jael Joseph. Good evening. Welcome to the show. I am excited to be bringing you. It's going to be a packed show, right? This is going to be a packed show. We have a lot of personalities on tonight, and we're taking them all one shot, and we're going. Yes. Normally it's just me and one other person, So I feel like I should have a bell, to ring the bell, when it becomes chaotic, because it might become chaotic on here this evening. But I am excited to introduce you guys to five people. Forget how many people I have on. Jeez, five wonderful individuals from 767. I see y'all. Thank you very much for joining. It's good to have you guys on. Let me know where you guys locked in from. Let me know where you're listening from, you're viewing from. It's good to have you on. Thank you very much. Oh my God, it's good. It's really good to have you guys on. Thank you for the messages. I'm getting messages direct DM. Okay. All right. Okay, people. All right. So let's get this show on the road with my Dominica Delegates. We're going to be talking a little bit about their journey, or the start of their journey, because they're starting their journey. And I want to welcome them onto the show. But before I do that, I want to big up my sponsors, because without them, let me tell you, the lights have to stay on. The internet have to be interneting. Without them, this could not be possible, because let me tell you, if they cut off the internet, you have no show, right? So bills have to get paid. I want to say special thank you to the National Cooperative Credit Union, of course, our community partner, for really embracing my show and always showing me so much love. I truly appreciate them for that. And I want to encourage you guys, if you've not become a member of the NCCU, what you waiting for? Like, you waiting for someone to give you a big callop there in your head to tell you to become a member? I mean, it is one of the best decisions I've made because I'm also a member. So they're not just advertising for advertising. Like I legit walk the walk and talk the talk. Okay. You need to become a member today. NCCU has so many different programs. So many different opportunities within the institution. I mean, if you want to get loans, but I like to focus on the savings aspect of it. Fantastic place to save your money. The interest rates I feel are favorable, and you feel that you're doing something and you're giving back to your community because everything stays here. You know what I mean? Like everything is here, right? So I want to pick up the NCCU and the entire team at the National Cooperative Credit Union. Tell them thank you very much for their support. Of course, if you want to bank online, because sometimes we feel like community partner might be a little localized, but you can bank online from anywhere in the world with CU online, like CU online, like CU online. Obviously, you use your NCC International debit card. Use your money how you want. It's your way. It's your NCC. All right, guys. So I just want to say thank you very much to them for their support, and also to Cookies Pizza. I am so excited to have Cookies Pizza on board with us as well. Cookies Pizza newly joined the Jael Joseph Live team, and I truly appreciate them, their love, their support, and they have some of the best pizzas. Well, not some of them. Like, I'm gonna be very biased. They have the best pizzas in Dominica, hands down. That's my kids' go-to place for their pizzas. They deliver. They also deliver pizzas. You can order and pick up. And it's always fresh. It's always fresh. Oh my God! So check out Perky's Pizza. I do for every Friday. We do Pizza Friday, so my kids get to enjoy pizza every single Friday. I usually call. By now, they know my voice. And they normally know my voice. But you can also pay online at perkyspizza.online. You can also do it through Shop DM Pay. You don't have to worry about the lines. You don't have to worry about the hassle. You get it still hot and delicious and delivered straight to your door. All right. And for the entire month of May until the end of the semester, students with a student ID will receive a discount. So they tested that last year and they've brought it back. So you can definitely get a discount if you're a student. I know my son will be utilizing that for sure. All right. So thank you very much again for your support. I truly, truly appreciate my sponsors. And if you'd like to become a sponsor, you can still do so because bills got to get paid, right? You can simply just send us a message. My contact information, jael@jaeljoseph.com. You can always show your support to the show. If you'd like to show your support, you can do so. I'm on Patreon, I'm on PayPal, and of course, I'm on mobile banking. Follow, subscribe, and show some love. All right, guys, let's get ready for the delegates. Oh, Lizra says, Cookies has the best roti. Let me tell you, Lizra, you had to have been there when they started the roti. And I used to come there and I wanted the chutney. And let me tell you, that's another show, Lizra. That's a whole other show. All right. Let's get our Caribbean delegates here with us on the show. Let's get them on. I want to welcome to the show for the very first time, in no particular order, because I'm going to have to reorder them at some point. So Rihanna is joining us. We have Daniel joining us. We got Lizra joining us. Leonard joining us. I tried to balance it out. What can I see? I got Jade joining us. We got a full house in the house. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hey,
Hiya.
Good night.
How are y'all doing?
Great.
good. We're doing
Thank
good.
you.
it's wonderful to have all of you on here with me here this evening. That's a packed house, and we want to get the conversation started. I feel like you know we have a lot that we can talk about here this evening. And I will start with Rihanna because people might be saying, but I didn't even see Rihanna on the flyer. What Rihanna doing here? You know, Rihanna is on with us, and she'll express or explain to you guys her role and why she's on. I want to welcome you, Rihanna, and thank you for putting this together and to help showcase the Dominica delegates who are part of the Caribbean Leaders Dialogue. So, Rihanna, first of all, tell us a little bit about you for those people who don't know Rihanna is. I don't know if you don't know who Rihanna is, your head bonks. But let's tell us a little bit about you, Rihanna.
Thank you. Thank you for that glorious introduction, Jael. So, yes, my name is Rihanna Patterson. For those who don't know, I'm 27 and I'm from Picard, Portsmouth. A bit of background about me. So, I attended the Portsmouth Secondary School and the Dominica State College. I went on to do my bachelor's in psychology at the University of Kent. Before that, I also founded the Dominica Dementia Foundation, which most people know me for at the moment. And I went on to do my master's at the University College London, and now I'm doing my PhD in dementia. And I know people will be like, whoa, Chebe breaks, like you don't take a break. But yes, I had breaks in between. So I did a film. I hope that qualifies as a break.
Break.
Not going well. But yeah, I
No, y'all refer to what y'all refer to breaks, eh? Y'all Caribbean people.
that's a
Okay.
break.
I took
Doing
a break.
something else.
I had a baby.
Exactly.
I took a break.
That's it. That's it. Yes. But yeah, so that is basically me in a nutshell. And yeah, I'm working towards working in dementia full time, but I'm on this call in the capacity of country host and co-lead for the Caribbean Canada Leaders Dialogue. So I got involved in this because I participated in the Duke of Edinburgh Commonwealth Study Conference in 2023, and really it was like right place, right time sort of thing. So upon becoming an alumni, I was rolled into the CCLD operations thereafter and became the country host for Dominica, and then shortly after the co-lead for the study group tours on the Caribbean Canada Leaders Dialogue. And I mean, it's been an amazing journey paying it forward. I've planned a 4-day immersive and educational group tour for 14 delegates in Dominica. And yeah, the Duke of Edinburgh Commonwealth Study Conference basically helps to enable leaders to help bring about positive change with local and global communities. And it kind of started yeah, I think was it in the 50s? I don't want to say the actual, oh, sorry, since 1962. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes as well. So, since 1962, Canada has been hosted 10 conferences and established a template for other Commonwealth countries to follow. And it's led by a board of Canadian and Caribbean directors. And there was a 17-year hiatus, but this week, the CCLD is in motion and will bring together 100 new leaders for a learning, networking, and development experience for a lifetime of change and meaningful results as well.
Yeah, thank you very much for that wonderful introduction and for letting us know what's in store for us. So Rihanna, before I introduce the others,
Mhm.
the other people, can you share with us what was the method or how did people get selected to be part of this dialogue?
Yeah, so there were applications and they were advertised online on the website, and alumni were encouraged to share widely with their network and encourage their colleagues to apply. And there were several questions on the application that relates to the person's work, their future plans, and there was a committee who dealt with it, with shortlisting candidates, and then they were informed accordingly, basically.
Okay. So out of those, Dominica selected four
Yes.
delegates. And we have Daniel Fidel, Jade Leatham, Leonard Emmanuel, and Lizra Fabian. And I want to start with Danielle. Danielle, I want to, if you could introduce the public to you, who you are, and tell us a little bit about why you wanted to be part of this. Why did you apply?
Thank you. Good night, and thanks for being on your show. It's my second time here, so it's always exciting. I'm always a little starstruck, Jael, on your show.
Really, really.
Just a little bit. Right, it's the lights. So my name is Daniel Fidel. I'm from Goodwill, Dominica. I attended SMA, and then when I graduated, I moved to pursue more studies in Canada. Finished high school there, and then I got my bachelor's degree at the University of Ottawa. All through that time, I was making music, so that was one of my first businesses. I was involved in music production. And then after that, I got involved in project management. I was studying sociology, then I got into project management. From there, I got an opportunity to go abroad. So I lived in Korea for 4 years, started as a teacher, and then a global education program coordinator was my title, creating learning materials and programs for students across Asia, from Korea, China, parts of Russia, Thailand, many places. And then I continued and I got more certified for that in Thailand. And then I went back to Korea before returning back to Toronto, where I had a short stint in finance, in governance on Bay Street, which is essentially the Wall Street of Canada, is Bay Street. And then I got involved in the e-commerce ecosystem, the e-commerce industry. From there, all the way through, I'm always involved with creators. When I was in Korea, I connected with the Caribbean community there. So we would throw on events, artist showcases. We would have basically bring the Caribbean to Korea. It was a lot of fun. So coming back to Toronto, involved in ecosystem of e-commerce and digital marketing, got to understand tech a lot more closely, fintech, and then me and a business partner, Ron Abraham, we started CheckWe, which was a digital platform around COVID times that would connect digital professionals to support businesses around the Caribbean. So we were focused on the entire region. That eventually turned into an agency, and then we ended up doing a lot of agency design work, development, and lots of different things connected to tech investments and growing small to medium-sized businesses. So that is my overview. And now I'm pursuing my MBA. Recently, I've been doing a lot of photography, social media work, was working on Dominica's Carnival, Creole Festival. And so now I'm just focused right now on agency, working with large consumer packaged good businesses, building out experiences online for businesses in the US while finishing up my studies. That's the background. I'm very excited for this program because my kind of history is always tied to global in some way. I'm always on some global stop, whether through my studies or wherever I'm located. And being between the Caribbean and Canada is almost like a dream. And so that's what this program really, that was the appeal for me. And then getting to connect with all of these different leaders and people who are involved in so many amazing things. And, you always want to be around the smartest people that you can find. So that's sort of what brings me here.
Wonderful, Daniel. It's good to have you, and congratulations on making it to be part of the 100. And we look forward to hearing a little bit more about what are some of your plans, what are some of the things that you hope to receive from this experience. Jade, I'm going in order. Jade Leatham is our next delegate. So Jade, you've been on here before, but but let us know. As a matter of fact, Daniel was probably my fifth guest ever, if I remember.
Wow.
Yeah, man, my fifth guest ever doing my shows. And that was years ago, Daniel. That was like 2018. Yeah.
Early 2018.
Yeah, we know each other that long, Daniel. Oh my
Not
God.
the fifth. No way. That's not possible.
Yeah, you might have been the fifth. The fifth, I think you were pretty close at the top. You were within the top 10.
Right.
And within that time, I had 100 shows. So
no way. Okay, so I get a medal.
So that show, that actual show ended in 2021, and I had 100 shows.
Wow.
So yeah,
Congrats.
you
That's
were
cool.
you were you were part of that. Yes.
Wow, that's awesome.
Um yeah. So yeah, let's move on to Jade. So Jade, tell us a little bit about you. Jade recently was on my show not too long
Mhm.
ago. Just a
Yeah.
couple months ago. Um so tell us a little bit about you and your background and why you decided to pursue this.
This must seem like a family reunion for you, Jael. So
It
I'll
does.
keep it brief, but so I am unfortunately American born, but I was raised in a very small village in the southeast of Dominica called Pishla. I went to the Berean Christian Academy and then Convent High School, then Dominica State College. Um, and then I went on to be a very proud alum of the University of West Indies, especially the Kingston campus. And it's just full circle that I'm going. My tour group is in Jamaica. I got a B.Ed in linguistics and literature, BSc in psychology, and a postgrad in culture and heritage studies. And then I took a break to zone in on my craft, which is writing, filmmaking, music. And I describe myself as like a multidisciplinary creative and cultural advocate, all while working a 9 to 5 in corporate America. So that's me.
Wow, wow. Why did you decide that this would be a good fit for you?
Anybody who knows me knows that I dream very big and I always question things. And I'm like, why not? Why can't things be different? Why can't we do this? Why can't things change? And this opportunity was about meeting with other change makers and people who have the experience, people who have done things that I still want to do, and I can learn from them and also give some of my ideas. So it's about collaborating and an opportunity to contribute as well. Because for me, the Caribbean is a magical place. So to meet people who also share that vision in a collaborative way was like a dream come true. It was literally what I prayed for months before.
Wow, that's wonderful. That's beautiful. Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Leonard Emmanuel. Leonard, it's your first time on the show.
It is.
You're the virgin of the show tonight. Your cherry has officially been plucked. Look, Daniel is dying. Daniel is dying. Daniel went red. I know how to get you to go red, Daniel.
No
Um,
sacrificing of the virgins, though.
none of those. No, the wrong country. This is Dominica. So tell us a little bit about you.
So, when I initially found out that I was going to be interviewed, and I shared, with my coworkers and my friends the flyer for this interview, and underneath my name it just said IT professional. A lot of the responses that I got was, "Wow, Leonard, that is actually your perfect description." And that's just because over the course of my career, I have worn many hats. IT is a very diverse field, but over the last couple of years, since I graduated, I have worn many hats in different subsections of, the IT field. So I did find that a bit fun. It's a bit of an inside joke. But yes, I
Did we pick that, or was that like we picked it, or what was that? Rihanna, did you pick that? Because I don't know. My producer is
I
the
think
one
that
that
was me, I looked at his bio and I was like, yep, IT
is a
professional.
professional.
well, it was very, very perfect. But a bit about me. So I spent the better part of my formative years, all through high school, in Nigeria. Um, my dad was an engineer, and I grew up there with my parents. After high school, I went to study in England. I got my bachelor's in IT from the University of Hertfordshire, and after my degree, I came back home, Dominica, where I worked for just under 2 years, I think, between the port and that Clear Harbor. And I think in 2017, I believe, I decided, to pursue a master's degree, and I enrolled at the University of Rochester in upstate New York. Now, my master's degree was a bit different. It wasn't your cookie cutter IT role. I did have a lot of business elements in that, just so that I could learn about the strategy and everyday workings of running a business. So that was very beneficial. And then I moved to Canada in January 2021, in the middle of winter. I think when I landed, that day was minus 20, if I recall correctly. Um, Joining IBM was a leap of
I
faith.
love how you take a deep breath, because let me tell you, the cold in Canada is biting.
It is. It is. It is. It's a very let's just say it wasn't a warm welcome, but a welcome nonetheless. Um, Me joining IBM was I was grateful, and I felt like it justified a lot of my previous experiences just working at Clear Harbor and my degree. And I was, should I say, nervous working at getting this role at a multinational company. But of course, working with a diverse crowd of people was very beneficial to me, right? Um, Now at IBM recently, I was certified to become a mentor. At the moment, I'm only allowed to mentor my colleagues. I am not yet, globally recognized as a mentor, but it started really with me just doing things like resume reviews or cover letter reviews, and that's what led me down the path. I found out about the mentorship program, and then I decided to dive into it. Now CCLD, this conference. My gratitude goes out to Rihanna because she reached out and mentioned that I might be a good fit. And I went through the page, the Commonwealth Leaders page, and I looked at it, and it took me a few days of seeing if I would really be interested in it, or trying to determine, because there was a very lengthy application as well. But in the end, I did go through with the application, and I'm very grateful to have been selected. Um, Outside of my professional and career life, I play tennis, and then I am an avid cyclist. So I do cycle a lot when it's warm.
When it's warm.
Yes.
What whereabouts in Canada are you?
I live in Markham, which is just
Okay, so
outside
you
Toronto. Yeah,
went
Greater
to one
Toronto area.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And so it's nice to meet you, Leonard, because it's the first time I'm meeting you.
Pleasure's all mine.
Welcome to the show, and I hope you have a great experience here this evening. And finally, we have Lizra. Well, Lizra, I mean, Lizra requires no long intro. I swear I speak to Lizra almost every day because we are in a group chat together. We both sit on the same board for the Gems Foundation. And wasn't it today we were talking? Like we messaged back and forth. And Lizra's also, the Progressive Mind. I had the opportunity to attend her event this year for the very, very first time. And as a matter of fact, my photo on my Zoom is a photo that I took at her event. At her event, which was absolutely amazing. Like I knew it would have been good, but I didn't think it would have been great.
Wow.
So it was a wonderful, like, how do I even express, how I started my year had a lot to do with what I got out of the progressivism event, which was at the start of the year. And as long as I'm in Dominica, it will be my go-to every single year. Yeah, as long as I am there, I think, yeah, enough about me and your event. But Lizard, tell us a little bit about you.
I mean, Jael, you make my heart so glad, and I'm humbled that you could say such amazing things about progressivism. And thank you for coming. I think this is our first debriefing, and hopefully we get to do this again. But in terms of me, I'm from Benz. I'm a country girl from Dominica, up in the rural part of Dominica, Northeast. I grew up in Benz, went to primary school, high school in Portsmouth. And then I went across to Trinidad for my associate degree, transfer credits to Jamaica. Jade, I guess we have partly same background. And after working in the family business for some years, I got a scholarship to China. And even while I was there, I got to do an exchange program in Michigan. So that's sort of like my background educationally. But when I came back to Dominica, I supported an NGO that helped the service sector in Dominica, organizations that deal with businesses in the service sector. And then I got invited to interview for DIC and then ended up working there for almost 6 years. And recently moved to working remotely with the OAS, supporting women entrepreneurs across the Eastern Caribbean. And that ended last month. So my life is like in a transitionary period, which is
Yeah, I
really
saw you updated your LinkedIn saying that you're looking for. I was like, you're looking? Like, how can you be looking? Like, nobody would expect you to be looking.
yes, yes. So this is extremely interesting because when Rihanna sent it at first, I mean, life was going through so many changes. And then when Rihanna reminded me, it's like, okay, Lisa, stop what you're doing today, focus on this application, just send it in. And then I sort of like forgot about it for a while. Continue working on different things and even trying to start off an ATV business. So we recently started off the ATV business, Fab Adventures, hosted Progressism, and also was trying to think of, I always want to develop the progressive mind into something more amazing that connects people globally, not just have an event in Dominica, but having professionals across the Caribbean and across the world, from as far as Africa and wherever else persons would come from, to Dominica, and connecting people across the world so that we could have meaningful engagement. And when the the email came in, that same night I saw Jade had a story or something on her Instagram, and I'm like, wow, you're part of this too, which was really interesting. Knowing that we got through this opportunity, and hopefully we can use this to create meaningful change for other Dominicans, other persons within the Caribbean, and really just make this like a foundation and stepping stone for many more people. So
Congratulations to all of you for making it thus far. And I'm so interested to know so much about, what some of your plans, what you anticipate, and all of that good stuff. So I want to start off with Rihanna first of all. Um, I mean, it was the first time a lot of probably the viewers are probably hearing about the Caribbean Canada Leaders Dialogue, right?
Mhm.
Um, my question is like, what makes it different from your typical leadership conference? Because we always hear of all of these. There's always a leadership conference, like so. What makes this different?
Yeah, I would say it's different in every way, to be honest, like even down to the model. It starts in Canada, it ends in the Caribbean, in the same week. Like there's no like months off and then you come back, like it's all in one go. And I think it's really interesting that you start having conversations in Canada and it's completely different to the conversations that you're going to have in the Caribbean because it's based on the exposure, the people that you're having conversations with, and every country has its own theme, and that really brings in the richness of the conversations as well. And they don't just place people based on like their interests. So let's say your interest is agriculture. You wouldn't go to a country that their theme is agriculture, right? So everyone is coming from different perspectives and different backgrounds, so it's not like the group has the same kind of perspective.
Mhm.
So you're going for a set theme, but everyone's perspective and life journeys are different. Someone's coming from a health perspective, someone else is coming from a tourism perspective. So it's really interesting to kind of pick out the minds of people when they
Mhm.
are looking at one said theme. And I think it's really interesting because not a lot of conferences do that either. And it's so immersive because you really get to connect with the community and have these kind of like I don't even know how to say it. Like you just have such rich conversations that you wouldn't have necessarily through a conference.
Mhm.
It changes the format, the setting, and then you go down to Barbados, and then you have continued conversations and get to share your learnings. So that's the beauty of the study tour. It's not just like it's not a vacation. It's you're going to said country, having these conversations, unpicking the landscape and everything like that. You get to learn so much. It really opens up your global lens. And I think that's, it really makes it such a powerful model and framework. And yeah, it's really unique, honestly.
Thank you for sharing that with us. How many countries will be on that stop? Like,
So we have, I think it's 6 countries. So I have them here. So we have Bahamas, Bermuda, Barbados. Barbados is a host, but also is hosting a tour as well.
Okay.
Dominica, obviously, Grenada, Guyana, and Jamaica. So that's our countries, and they all have different themes. For example, Dominica is sustainable development, but the sub theme is social impact and community engagement. Bahamas is diversity, inclusion, equity. Bermuda is advocacy and social reform, sorry, policy reform. Grenada is something entirely different. Jamaica is something entirely different. So that's what I'm trying to get at. There's different themes for the different countries, and yeah, it's going to be fantastic, to be honest.
Does everyone get to go to the different islands, or is it just as
So
because
it's
Jay
14.
mentioned that she's in Jamaica, so
Yeah.
explain that to us.
Yes, so it's 14 delegates per tour, and you don't go to your own country because it wouldn't make sense.
Right?
So you go to a different country, and then you get to learn the landscape of that said country. So that is kind of the format it's taking, and you're there for about 3 to 4 days with your group, and then you go to Barbados, and then you meet with the 100 leaders that have been selected and sharing learnings. And yeah, it will be grand. It'll be even more learnings because you get to learn about other islands that you didn't have the opportunity to attend. So it'll be quite good.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds pretty exciting. I'm interested to know what qualities or experiences, in your opinion, Rihanna, really
Hmm.
sets the Dominican delegates apart. Because I mean, we hear they it's a really nice balance of like everybody is like completely different.
Yeah.
But what really set them apart in terms of their qualities or even their experiences or even what would have made them get selected?
That's a good question. So I would say the Dominican applicants were selected as any other delegates, but it was based on leadership potential. So, existing work, their plans, their motivation for participating, but also looking ahead. So, how can they give back to the conference? What skills and qualities can they add? What can add value to the membership? What sets them apart was, I think, the depth of the applications. It was very thorough, so providing sufficient detail was
Mhm.
really important for these types of applications, because remember, you need to also remember, like, the person that's reading it is not your cousin. So they most likely don't know your profile. They only know what you've written on the application, right? So
Mhm.
they need to know where you're coming from, what's the level of impact in your community, in your workplace. And I think everyone articulated that really well in their applications. So there was a lot of ground that they could get to understand, okay, this is what they're doing, this is what they're trying to achieve, this is where they're going. And basically, when you're creating these applications, it's like you're basically telling a story, isn't it? So you start from start to finish. So I think that's what they did quite well. And yeah, everyone that was selected obviously has fantastic work going on and is currently active. I think is also very important that there's previous work that they've done, but they're also continuously contributing to the community. So having that continued sustained level of impact is very
Okay.
important as well, and that came through.
All right, let's get to the delegates. Let's get to them. I'm gonna start off with Leonard. Leonard, I'm gonna pick on you because like you're the only one I don't really know. So it's like, yeah, we're gonna dig deep on Leonard. You mentioned, of course, your work. You spoke about Clare Harbor. You've spoken about being a mentor, I believe, at IBM.
Yep.
What would you say has been the defining moment in your transition from being in a global space to a local space and then back to a global space in terms of impact?
So that's a very interesting question for me. I think looking back over the last decade or so, um, I can't really pinpoint an exact defining moment, right? There have been, I've been in different environments, as you said, working in Dominica and now working in Toronto. But, I can't really, just looking back, I can't really pinpoint a specific moment where I was like, wow, this was the moment, right? Um, when I was at university during my undergrad, so side story.
Mhm.
I was uh, I was part of the welcoming committee. It's a very informal name for basically my job was to show the new students who are new to the campus where they would be staying, right?
Mhm.
And of course, a lot of them were it was similar to me and experiences that I had. It was their first time away from home, away from their parents or under the guidance of their older siblings. It was their first time being, I should say, in the real world, right? So just seeing a friendly face that was able to introduce them to the campus, show them around, that was very beneficial to them, right? It showed, um, it was, I've used the word beneficial already, but it was a very welcoming situation for them, right? Now, uh, leveraging that, at least, just speaking to people on a daily basis, at least when they were being welcomed to the campus, that enabled me to work on at least my communication skills, I should say, because if you don't know about Clear Harbor, you're working in tech at Clear Harbor, you're supporting 800 to 900 people on a daily basis, right? You meet different people, you meet different personalities, different communication styles, so all this tied in, right? And going further, working in the tech space, technology is ever changing, right? It's not stagnant, right? So you always have to stay abreast with latest introductions in technology and advancements. And with that, I made the decision to go and go for further studies, right? So throughout all those different aspects of my life, I always had sort of the innate feeling to sort of give back, because looking at my history, England, Dominica, America, and now Canada, not everyone would have that path. So navigating that, it was a bit challenging at first, at least when I was in it, experiencing it. And it's something that I felt that I wanted to impart on others who may be interested in maybe not following my exact path, but at least a similar path, right? Um,
Mhm.
and at IBM, that, as I said, it worked. It started off with just doing resume reviews for people who were graduating after me from college, or cover letter reviews, and mock interviews. And
Mhm.
in my own little way, it was very pleasant getting feedback saying, "Hey Leonard, I got the job, thanks for your help, thanks for your guidance, this resume review was really beneficial to me." Just those little things, it really kept me going, right? And
Mhm.
last year, as I said, I went further by becoming a recognized mentor within IBM. And this not only covers like career guidance and you know um, other aspects of the day to day working at IBM, but also you know personal issues or financial issues. Just certain things that I am now well equipped to discuss and mentor and coach fellow IBMers. So that's about it in a nutshell.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Leonard. I'm also very interested to, because you mentioned living in Nigeria.
Yes,
So that makes you bilingual, right?
yes, it does.
And you speak Hausa. It's called Hausa.
Yes, yes, that
Yeah.
that I speak. Yes.
How do you see a Hausa and culture, or the language and culture, playing a role in terms of leadership across borders? Because you are someone that promotes the language. As far as I've been told, you promote the language quite often. So give us, first of all, give us a little Hausa for, like, for us Dominicans. That give us something. Give us like you have to give us something, right? Give us
Okay.
something in the language, and then tell us a little bit about how you see that, really, um, playing a role in terms of leadership across various borders.
Okay. So something very simple that I would say is like ina son chi shinkafa da kaza. So that simply
I
translates
don't,
to,
I don't know. I don't know if that's simple, huh? That not
well,
sound
okay.
that's simple because because Jen will have face, because Jen is like, oh god.
So so
Say that again. Say that again for us.
okay, so it's ina son chi
In
shinkafa.
Ashanti.
Yeah, shinkafa de casa. So that
That's,
translates to
that's nice.
I want to eat rice and chicken.
I don't know why. Are you hungry, Leonard? Did you come on here with an empty stomach?
A bit, but I don't know. It's been on my mind all day. It's just
Right?
it's just one of those things.
I'm going to record this and I'm going to record this up. But thank you. So thank you for sharing that with us. Tell us a little bit. Everybody's dying. While you trying to be so composed. Y'all are so silly. Everybody's trying to be composed and professional. This jail just live. Professionalism is not required. It's not a mandate. Okay. Daniel is turning blue. Daniel, pretty soon we'll not see you on the screen.
All my colors, all the colors.
Yeah. Go ahead,
um,
Leonard.
but yeah, to carry on from your question, the world is very diverse, right? You never know who you're gonna meet, and of course, language is, of course, you know, it's probably the second thing that a person notices about you when your first interaction. Um, I've traveled a lot. I have, Hausa spoken, I think, across 6 or 7 countries in West Africa. So at any given moment, you might meet someone that speaks Hausa, right? And again, I do have, sorry, a lot of stories. Just being part of the welcoming party at the University of Hertfordshire, a lot of my stories are sort of based on that. I did meet a young individual who was fluent in Hausa. He didn't know I was fluent, but just being able to express myself in Hausa, that extended the camaraderie, and it was again very welcoming for him because the the nature of moving away thousands of miles away from your parents, coming to college for the first time, being alone, just seeing someone who is from your community that speaks the same language as you do, that is a very heartwarming feeling. Now, in the wider sense, languages, they break barriers, right? Um, they allow immersive dialogue, and they enable like multinational, cross-functional communication with different people across multiple ages, nationalities, and ethnicities. And just being bilingual is, I feel, one of the immense benefits that you never know what situation you might be in, right? Um,
Yes.
so I feel like I always, at least I shouldn't say always, but one thing that I have made it is that when I do have children of my own, I will encourage them strongly to learn
Tell
a
that to
second
those
language.
Dominicans that doesn't want to talk Creole to their children.
I will definitely encourage them strongly to learn a second language, because again, it's one of the it's very. I should probably I know I just spoke about communication, but now I'm getting short of words. But it is an immense benefit, especially seeing as the world is just a global marketplace, right?
Definitely. That I completely agree with you 100%. You spoke about your parents. Your parents are
Mhm.
Dominican, right?
Yes, born and bred.
So did they ever teach you Creole? Because you could have been easily trilingual. Do they even know Creole?
Yes, so both my parents are fluent in Creole. Unfortunately, I wasn't.
Taught.
Uh,
I know you don't want to put your parents
yeah,
on blast.
I wasn't taught. My older sister was. But I think it would have been beneficial for me to learn Creole, but unfortunately, no, I
Yeah.
did not learn Creole.
You feel like
Uh,
something was taken away from you, right?
a bit. Again, I don't wanna put them on blast a bit, but I'm
I mean, I understand. I mean, I share the same sentiments. My parents, I lived in a house. I mean, not they cannot do me nothing now because they're both passed on. But they didn't teach. They didn't want to teach me or any of my siblings Creole. It was supposed to be something that they spoke that we didn't understand purposely. When they're talking about us or they're talking about somebody, or they may be talking about finances and they don't want you to know. So it was this language that like they didn't want us to learn, and I only learned to speak Creole because my great grandmother came to live with us, and I was like, I wanted to know all the bad words in Creole first. That was first off the list, and my great grandmother was a bit rude too, so she was, she was very willing to teach me all of the words, and that's how I learned Creole. And even like trying to teach my kids, like my youngest, my aunt always enforces and reinforces, Creole into like always speaks Creole to him. So I hope that they will learn, but you know, it's not something that we even teach in our schools here, So that is something that I know I see Jade. That is something that I feel so strongly about that should be included, because my son goes to a private school and they teach him, they have a Mandarin tutor, they have all kind of, and I'm like, okay, I get Mandarin is the largest language in the world, but teaching about the Creole, na? Like, like,
You
yeah.
know, and
So,
and just to extend on that, I think personally, I think the environment you're in plays a huge part in how fast you learn a language, right? It was just my parents, right? So I think both of them just teaching me, I would have, it was a lot easier for me to learn Hausa because it was in the environment, it was at school, it was in the
yes,
neighborhood. So
yes,
there were a lot more people speaking it around me
yes.
and just, trying to learn from my parents' conversations with just two of them, right?
I've moved on, from making your parents feel bad. No, because I understand that obviously you were raised in Nigeria, and it would only make sense that the language around you would be what you. But if you think about it, though, where I would probably disagree with you or agree to disagree with you on that is we find like I've lived in Canada for many years, and I've had friends of um different ethnic backgrounds. They've moved and they all speak their language, but in Canada they were born in Canada, right? And they all speak their native language where their parents came from.
Mm,
So I feel sometimes we make an excuse for not teaching our children. We're saying, oh well, they're in a different environment, so we're trying to help them to assimilate. But that is pure bullshit, if you ask me, because I have friends who were born in Canada who speak their native. As a matter of fact, I have a friend who's never been to the country where her parents were born, but she speaks the language. So, so
yeah,
I feel like it's you know, I can agree to disagree with you.
yeah.
But we'll stick up in that for now.
Yep.
You
Okay.
want to add something? You want to add something?
Oh no, I was just saying I'll shift more of the blame to my parents. Now that you've explained that.
I was gonna. I mean, I'll leave your parents alone. Eh? But I want to move on to Jade. To share. So thank you very much. We'll come back to you at some point, Leonard. But I wanted to speak to Jade a little bit about. So Jade, I know you wear many hats. You're a writer, you're a filmmaker, you're a recording artist, you're a cultural advocate. You make the most bum ass TikToks. How do you weave all of these creative lanes into one cohesive mission?
Um, I think all the hats fall under one crown for me that is rooted in a single mission, and my mission is nation building through storytelling. I don't see arts as just personal expression, but it's a tool for me, um, especially now in what we call the orange economy. So I used to be an educator, I used to be a teacher, and at heart, I'm still an educator. So my mission is to tie creativity to education and tourism and any other industry that we have in Dominica and the Caribbean at large, so that we're not just entertaining people, we're generating economic opportunity, generating employment, and at the same time, we're preserving history and culture. So ultimately for me, it's about creating systems where people thrive and they explore, and most importantly, where people remember who they are.
Mm. Thank you very much for that. And I want to kind of circle on to, because I know you have a novel. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Um, and you have upcoming projects centered around Afro Indigenous Caribbean stories, and all of this. I'm interested to know, because I know this conference is obviously about challenging assumptions. Based on, I guess, based on the overview of it,
Mhm.
and I'm interested to know what's one assumption that people often have about the Caribbean or even Dominica that you're ready to dismantle during the dialogue.
I think, oh, that's a great question. I think the main one for me is that we are just like a backdrop for tourism. Dominica and the Caribbean, we're often just seen as like postcard aesthetics and, just like on the periphery of people's experiences. But that's not the case. And all of us here are witness to it. And we are testimony that we are intellectuals in the Caribbean, we are innovators, we are cultural architects, and we are not, even if people want to put us there, but we are not on the periphery of global conversations. We are essentially foundational because every group of people who came to the Caribbean to make us what we are, they are part of ancient civilizations, whether you're from the continent of Africa, from India, from China, the indigenous people to the Americas. We are foundational ancient people. So at this dialogue, I really want to challenge the idea and just inspire people to know that we are not small in impact. Okay, our voices can carry across oceans, and when we speak, people will listen because we have a lot to offer.
Mm. Wow, wow, wow. That is a really good, I like that you touch on the tourism aspect a little bit, it's just interesting. And I will not go into too much detail because we might be here forever and I want to get every single one. What I want to do is I want to take a short break before I move on to Danielle and Lizra. I want to take a short break. You guys can grab water because I need to grab water. I forgot my water. So you can grab your water. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We're continuing the conversation. We still have some more. So stay tuned. We're coming back right after this. All right, guys, stay tuned.
You need a loan, a checking account, a fixed deposit or insurance. NCC got you in various offices. So it's high time to begin your membership. You want quality products, we have that. You want quality services, we have that too. Our services will help make your dreams come true. That's a fact. Hurry now to NCCU, your community financial partner. Here to support you through all disaster. At NCCU, trust us, we care. That kind of loyalty you cannot find anywhere. National Cooperative Credit Union, education, training, and information. Self-help, self-responsibility, democracy, equality, solidarity. At NCCU, we hustle hard for our members. So become a member today at one of our local offices to help us make your dreams come true. 255-2126. NCCU, your community financial partner.
I get up.
Boy, I hungry.
Wait, come see that.
Take advantage of Perky's Pizza's college student discount. Spend $10 to $50 and get 10% off, or spend $51 and up for a 15% discount. Flash your ID and save big today.
We're back, guys. We're back. If you're just tuning in, we're locked in and we're having a good conversation here with some of our Dominican / Caribbean delegates. I'm going to bring them right back on. So we got Rihanna joining us. We got Danielle. We have Jade. We have Leonard. And of course, we have Lizra. Where's Lizra? So you don't want to come on? You don't come on with me?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we got these wonderful individuals on, and we've been learning a little bit about them, learning a little bit about their backgrounds, learning a little bit about what they hope to accomplish at this upcoming Caribbean Leaders Dialogue, and just getting them to share their stories or a little bit about themselves with you. We're continuing the conversation with Danielle. So, Danielle, of course, I know so much about you, Danielle. Like, where do I start? But of course, you've been a strategist. You've trekked the globe. You've been in Dominica. You went to South Korea, Canada. How has this or all of these experiences, or this multicultural exposure, shaped your understanding of leadership?
It's a good question. So there's a book that I'm reading right now that's helping me understand that a little bit better. It's called Culture Map. So for anybody who's a reader, that's a good one about cultural leadership. And the thing that stands out the most for me is that in every culture, leadership manifests differently. So it's very contextual. Something that's acceptable in one place is not in another. So an example would be in Western countries, they love when you take initiative, right? Solve the problem before it becomes a problem, get it in front of your supervisors, your superiors. Initiative. But when I was in South Korea, it was almost a little bit different. I actually had got in trouble for doing that, solving a problem before my supervisor got a chance to even know what was going on. And that was a lesson of I needed to report a lot more things. So from the time I got dinged for that, it was okay, hey, Mike, we have a problem here. You could do XYZ to solve it. I have this idea. What do you think? So it's a very nuanced thing. You still have to actively solve a problem, but you needed to in the East, I needed to make sure my bosses were involved in everything, right? It was a little jarring to have that experience, right? Because I was confused. I'm thinking
Mhm.
like, why am I in trouble for just fixing this, right? I saved you
I see,
time. He
I
was
see
like,
Lisa,
no,
Lisa smile because I guess Lisa has the China experience too. So
Yeah,
Lisa,
the
right,
last one. You can't make him lose face, right?
exactly, exactly. So certain leadership styles. They want to, lack of a better word, you have to sometimes make the idea their own, or they need to be part of the idea. If they need to report it to someone else, they need to understand what went into it because they also have someone else to report to. So that's an example of how leadership can be different in different places. And then being in Korea as well, I had to lead a multinational team of English speakers, but from the US, from Canada, from South Africa, from England, Australia, New Zealand, and then you also had the South Korean English speakers as well. And each of these people are such different people, different individuals. South African people are so different from Americans. And I would say I would have to change my lingo, change the slang. Like we're all English speakers, all foreigners technically, but we all needed to be treated very differently because of our cultural upbringings. Um,
mm.
from not even just the hand signals, but the facial expressions. You have to be more aware of your tone, the
Give
right.
us an example. I want an example.
If I have to say tell to someone in the US, hey, I got this now. You can peace out. We're good, right? It's like I think of Usher when I say peace out, right? You throw peace, but then that's offensive to some people. Like, what you mean peace out? What are you trying to talk to me? You want me to peace out? So that's like a very small example of that.
Yes, yes, yes.
That's the one that comes to mind right now. So
Wow.
leadership in different cultures, it's contextual. You have to be mindful of who is in the room. You might be working with Asian colleagues as well. I know that example really well. And during a meeting, they're very quiet and it might not seem like they have much to contribute. but that's not quite
Or
true.
even interested in what you're saying.
They're interested, but they're waiting to be called on.
Yes.
It's not my turn to talk. They're not going to raise their hands. The person who is speaking is the one in charge of the room. So I'll have all my ideas, but I'm going to wait until I'm actually called on to be spoken to. Whereas in Dominica, you just put your hand up. I have something to say, or not even that. You just blurt it out.
You might just blurt it out. Yes.
You just blurt it out. So you can just look at Parliament in the West and then compare it to Parliament in the East. That kind of will give you a good example of how the cultures are different and how leadership manifests.
Yeah.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. If I'm in a room now and there's a multicultural group, I make an effort to try to call on people, even not expect them to just speak up. They might have something very important to say, but you have to be mindful of the communication styles. Language has a part to play in that. So I was really enjoying what Leonard had to say about language, because I think language influences culture a lot more than anything. So I think something Leonard forgot to mention was when you speak a different language, you actually adopt that other culture.
Yes.
Even more so. So I think learning a language in a multicultural leadership setting is even more important, because when you learn the language, you understand the culture. And then if you understand the culture, you can connect with the people better.
I know you speak a few languages, right?
I attempt to. I'm trying. I speak Korean the best as a second language, and I've not been doing too well with French, and then like Spanish is maybe the one that I know best as a third.
Okay.
But I'm not fluent like that. Yeah.
Okay. So Auntie Jennifer did not teach you any Creole?
No.
We hitting those
my
parents.
father that knows Creole. My father.
We hitting those parents tonight. Listen, we hitting them.
He had a cadence band too, mind you. He used to sing cadence music.
He used to sing whole cadence, but you can't speak Creole.
Yeah.
So if I first some maple on you in Creole, you don't know nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't in the house, I just think it's just because I was in town. That's just what I sum it up to. I was in town.
The Rosabuki mentality, right?
Yes, yeah, probably. Everything I learn in Creole is just on the streets and in passing, and through music, and yeah.
Thanks for sharing with us, Daniel, on that. Obviously, talking about your background in terms of what you do, you've promoted Dominica's Carnival, World Cup Music Festival, obviously on digital platforms. What's one thing that you think Caribbean countries, especially Dominica, can probably do better in the digital space because of that is essentially a huge part of your background?
To be honest with you, I think we do things very well in the Caribbean. I think we do well. What we need is probably to be more coordinated. We need to have more coordination together, and it comes down to planning. When it comes to
systems, I think it's systems.
Systems. Exactly.
Yeah.
That is exactly it. The systems. Where some people are in a rush, some people are laissez-faire with it. Some people can hit a checklist. Some people understand quality a bit more than others, right? Like it's having a bigger picture view of things. And I think the system can help with that.
Yeah.
So, some people might say, oh, let's just put out a flyer for this event. But if we're thinking about Carnival, or we're thinking about Creole Festival and all of Dominica's events, it's not just that one flyer. It's like, okay, how is this event going to impact the marketing for this other event? And so I think the systems and coordinating between them is maybe the best, the low-hanging fruit for improvement. Production, we have it down, I think. The strategies are there, the content is there. I think just more integrated systems.
Yeah.
So integrated systems, yeah.
I'm glad that you brought that up because, most of you might know that I teach content strategy. And one part of what I teach is on content management systems. And you'll be surprised, like in my classroom, how shocked people are that there are things to make your life a lot easier. Like people always wonder, like Jael, like I remember I was actually doing something online. Like I was in an active discussion online, and it seemed like a couple of people who were also on the call with me, they were probably scrolling through their social media,
Mhm.
and a video of mine dropped, and they're like, so one of them is like sending me a message like, "You posting? Is that what you're doing? Like you posting?" I'm like, "No, I have a whole system for that." I have a whole system.
Yeah.
Like my content is scheduled sometimes weeks in advance. Sometimes I go back in and I change things because
Mhm,
things change and whatnot. But just explaining to them that there's a system for that. There's a system to help you to plan. There's a system to help you to measure. There's a system for everything.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to spend all of this time. And one of the things that you said that was super important is that I think we talk about the system, but a huge a huge thing is that a lot of people have so much doing in the Caribbean space because the money's not as big as North America. So you might get $50,000 a year EC as a probably marketing manager of an institution in the Caribbean, whereas in the US or in Canada, you probably get like a 90,000 Canadian, right? Easy. And because people are operating on such in
Tight
such a
budgets.
budget, but not just limited resources, is like you find people are very much last minute when it comes to a lot of things. Not that they don't know what to do, not that they don't know how to do it,
But they're doing something else. Most likely doing something else to
10
supplement
things.
Listen, most people who are doing very, very well, like they have like 2, 3, 4 things going on, but it's always last minute and they're always going and going. So those people are good with systems, but capacity. So the budget is really the driving force behind that. If I was paid, anybody was paid well enough to do one job, and they could take all that energy and just funnel it into this one thing, you'd see the quality just bloom. It would just be so much better, right? Things would be more efficient, and that's for every person, not just the marketing manager. It could be the production team, the creative team. So budget is a big part of that, 100%.
Just to be a complete jackass here, because I can. So I saw this job posting. God, and I'm looking for it because it's up on my tab. For CTO has a position for marketing manager, and the amount of things in that freaking job requirement. CTO is the Caribbean Tourism Organization. The amount I would never apply for that job, because first of all, they would not be able to pay me enough for that job. Like, so I'm just like, I'm so interested to see who actually gets. I'm like, this is me. I'm gonna see who gets that job, because I know they're not getting $200,000 a year. And that job is a $200,000 US job, because they want you to do marketing, they want you to do communications, they want you to do the reporting, they want you to do events management. They want to, like, when I started reading through it, I was like, who the hell gonna do this job?
You see,
You know
that's how you crush someone's soul. Take someone who is very passionate about the person who will sign up will obviously be very passionate about it, but you will crush their soul very quickly with that.
And some people will apply because obviously they want a job, and they know that this is something that will bring lucrative income. It probably is a stepping stone into something else where they want to go. But somebody like me, who has to have my side hustle because I gotta work for me. I want to work for you, but I gotta work for me, right? I ain't gonna apply for that. Are you out of your mind? Like, I would never, even if they paid me to apply for it.
You won't get the same quality out of the person. They'll burn out immediately, and you're just not going to get the results. So whoever is managing that person and that budget and those tasks, they're going to feel underwhelmed because they're asking for the universe, when really you need to hire a whole team.
When are y'all in Barbados? Whoever goes to Barbados, y'all need to bring that to their attention, because that makes sense.
It's the budget. I don't know where the budget comes from for that specifically.
Make it make sense, my people. Make it make sense.
It comes down to budget. But Jael, do you feel that people value those skills enough in the Caribbean?
No, they don't. No, they don't. Because like I look at I could use me as an example, right? And my skill set. Like people look at me and they think, oh, she's on social media.
Mm.
That is my job, right? That is what I do for a living. As far as the entire Daniel, different. Jade, different.
Yeah.
Lizra, different. Probably even Rihanna knows different. But the general idea. So I've had conversations with professionals to say, oh, you're the social media person. Yeah, but I also have a master's in media production. Like you put me behind a light setup, and I can mash up an entire event for you. Right? Yeah, okay. You might know me as an MC, but that is just one aspect of it, like
You
so
you have a whole master's in media production and still have the wisdom to hire a producer. You're not producing your own show,
I'm not even producing my own show.
right? You can understand what goes into it,
I'm not even producing my own show. Like some people don't even understand that,
right?
like they
Because
don't
you can do it
understand.
don't mean you have to do everything. And so, when you take the time, let's say this is the amount of energy you have, like in this ball, you take away to do this task, you take away to do that task, nothing gets done whole. So I think maybe a mindset shift across the board, because I've seen it in Dominica, I've seen it in other places. It's just a mindset shift, and people do trivialize what it takes to be on social media, to do digital media. It's not just put up a camera, say some words. No, so you could spend hours and hours and hours on just like 30 seconds, right?
Mhm.
And then you've got to do the post production, the media, the writing. There's a lot. So I would like, if to your original question, what would I like to see? I would like to see a mindset shift in how
Mhm.
people perceive digital media.
We're not buicks. We're
We're
really
not.
not
We're
buicks.
not, right? It's not donkey season. You cannot do donkey
No, it's
season.
not donkey
There's a
season.
time and place for it, right? If you can do everything and
Mhm.
it's need, but it shouldn't be the expectation. It's
Mhm.
not,
And
and I
one of
think
the
that's the expectation. It's not as simple as taking a picture and posting.
things that I was recently talking to somebody about, and how we complain a lot about the Caribbean not having the funds, like, because I mean that is a real thing, not having the financial capacity to be able to pay people what they truly deserve for the
Mhm.
jobs that they actually do. A lot of that is obviously rooted in colonialism and the after effects and the
Mhm.
remnants of all of what we've had to go through, and that we still are continuously going through. Why they need to freaking give us all the money that they owe us, like, and just set us free, really set us free, because we're not really free, because of all of that. But I was talking to them about, all of the grant options that are available to us as Caribbean people. Like, if we're are we how are we tapping into this, and how are we utilize, because we can literally tap into these things and create positions within organizations to help take the load off of the other people, because you can get research money, so you can get somebody to do the research, the marketing on the ground stuff. You can get people to do that stuff. You pay somebody and they do it for you, so you're not doing the marketing and doing the research and doing the
Mhm.
this and putting together the plans and doing this. You can actually get money to fund culturally um impactful
Mhm.
events.
Mhm.
If it's an event that is around culture and indigenous people, you can get money to put somebody in there. It doesn't have to be you. And I think we need to start getting out of that mentality that it has to be me to do it. I can lead it, I can guide it, but I don't have to be doing all the work.
So,
Like,
and that's the interesting thing about leadership. Leadership is not being the person in front and doing everything. You have to
mm,
put other people in positions of leadership.
mm,
And one of two blockers I've identified, I'm convinced, you have to work hard to convince me otherwise. It's scarcity mindset and lack of trust. We have a scarcity mindset and we have a lack of trust in one another, all collectively.
mhm.
All collectively. It's the reason you cannot get certain deals done quick enough. It's the reason why you won't go into business with certain people, why you might just be a bit nervous. Something in your chest is like, it's a good idea, but I don't know. And then when you do give someone a chance and then they actually don't meet the expectation, because whether it's budget, whether it's time, whether it's the right direction, or even just the fit, because people will take jobs that scarcity mindset will make people take jobs that they probably should just say no to. You have to be able to say no in many times to, like, I'm starting to embody, like,
Learn.
business is better than bad business, and you have to look for alignment.
Daniel.
It's better to
Say
say
French shit
no.
for me, Daniel.
No shade. There's no shade for you, Jael. It's alignment. The real trick is alignment. For me, I don't want to get involved.
That's an in conversation,
know.
guys. Sorry, we don't mean to put.
Nothing there. There's nothing, right? But in general, it's like, because if you're not going to be able to fulfill your own promises, then it kind of degrades, like, your word, right?
It does.
If I'm going to promise you XYZ and I find myself in a position I can't do this for you, that applies to anyone. Then it's like, I would rather remove myself than make things worse, right? So in leadership, my approach to leadership is, you have to sometimes make hard calls, but you always need to try to leave things in a better place than how you find them.
Thank you very much for sharing with us, Daniel. I wanna move on to Lizra, and I want to talk a little bit about, you have your resume, you have a hot resume, which is why it blows me away that, you're looking, right, because you're like a regional leadership blueprint. You have DIC, you have the UN, you have the OAS, you have progressive mind. What would you say is your loudest leadership moment to date?
It's sort of difficult to choose what the loudest is, but I think throughout the times, like one of the
So look at it from your proudest loudest.
Wow. I would say when I was at the chamber at DAIC, there was so many opportunities for growth. And we talk about, like, pay versus that's a whole different conversation. But one of the encouragement I had in joining DAIC is that don't look at the money, but look at the opportunities for growth. And being there, I really, I know, but we're not going into that part right now. I'm really grateful for my experience at the chamber. So anyone who's listening, my directors, my members, anybody,
I feel you have to also measure where you're at in life too.
Yeah.
It's like where I'm at in life, what I'm trying to get to. Okay, I'm willing to do this because I see the opportunities and I see how I can help. I see how I can make impact.
Yeah.
But then when you become like an old hat back like me who's been doing this for a while, you're just like, it's okay.
Well, at the time, I did take on the advice that I would look to, because I wanted to impact on a national level. Because I had a plan that, okay, I want to really give as much as I can on a local level, then give as much as I can on a regional level, and then move international. And in 2018, it was just so interesting how things aligned. There were 3 of us who were executive directors from chambers who went to a conference in Barbados, and we had a meeting on the side, and we were like, we really need to set up a network of chambers of commerce across the region. And this was something that was not established. Like, there were other organizations, but we really needed something where the chambers of commerce can network together so that we can create more value for our members. And in 2018, we established this network initially, I think, with 14 or 15 chambers. And they selected me as the chairperson for this network, being the youngest, the female, a woman. And it's like, I felt imposter syndrome, but they're like, no, we put in you as the chair of the network. And well, thank God for his strength during that time. I think that propelled me in so many ways, representing Dominica, the private sector in the region, in so many different forums, having to speak on behalf of our private sector. And then this led me to represent us on the global level, supporting the private sector in even looking at resilience on the UN level. So I think through my experience, these were some of the areas I think I grew a lot and really quickly in being proud of the leadership experience and making an impact, not just in my community, but regionally and globally.
Thank you very much, Lizran. Congratulations again. I did not know that you were I know when that was formed because I worked with an organization that was also assisting you guys to put all of this together. And, I just remembered, but I did not remember that you were the youngest woman, on that. So that speaks volumes. And that probably will lead me to this question, because I really want to Obviously, you've worked extensively with women entrepreneurs through your work at the DIC, through OS as well, and even through the chambers, the regional based chambers. What's your vision for gender inclusive leadership in the Caribbean in terms of moving forward? Like, how do you see that moving forward?
So that's an interesting question when we talk about gender, because it's not just women. I even got a question from this colleague in Latin America today to fill out something on gender in resilience. And gender also includes men. It's not just women, and our men need a lot of support as well. So gender inclusive means that we are not leaving anyone behind. We're not leaving our men behind. We're not leaving our women behind. And I know we say, in Dominica and in the Caribbean, our women are strong, but there are some areas I believe our women are vulnerable as well. And our women need support and help in being able to be the best that they can be. And Jade, I mean, because social media is such a part of our life, your story, it resonated with me that sometimes we apologize for things we don't have to apologize for. And sometimes we diminish our light because we feel that, you know what, I'm not supposed to shine as bright. Like, God tell us that put your candle on a stand and let it shine so that people can see. Not for us to shine as ourselves, but for us to lead others to that way. And I believe that the vision for gender inclusive leadership is that wherever we are, whoever we shine bright so that others can see, so that we can reduce vulnerabilities. We can make our communities, our families, and our lives better. And that includes leadership in Dominica. Our classmates were speaking about leadership, and that takes us on a whole other path. Looking at Dominica, where we are, some of the areas we need to improve as a country, not just in politics and not apart from politics, is like everything is all a part of our lives. And there's so many areas that we can grow. There's so many areas that all our leaders can grow. And I really do hope that through this experience, we can impart something to all different parts of society in Dominica. And it could be an example for others. Some people say, why don't you go in politics? Why don't you be the next prime minister? Like, we don't all have to be the next prime minister, but we can, wherever we are, shine and make an impact and make lives better for so many people.
Wow, wow. Thank you very much, Lizra. Well said, well said. I mean, I am constantly sharing on social media, y'all know, like those of you who follow me. And I try to be as open and honest, with my followers. I think a huge, I see the results of it in brand ambassador work that I do and the impact that it has. Because you think people listening to you, and yeah, they're listening to you because you have comments underneath, people are engaging. So you think, oh, they're listening to you. But to like literally walk into stores and say, I just said that this is really good for your skin, and the shelf is empty. It's like Jael, can you take it down now because this shelf is empty? It's like, and you think to yourself, well, okay, I guess people are listening, but not just listening. People have to trust, people have to trust what you say. People have to, you know, um, I've gotten a lot of men because y'all know, those of you who follow me, I'm going through my weight loss journey. And speaking of gender, women have jumped on the program that I'm on. Lots of women have jumped on, but men have been empowered to even start their fitness journey. I had men coming up to me at Jazz and Creole and saying, "Jael, I've lost 25 pounds because of you." And I'm like, me? Like majority of my viewers are women. Like, what are you talking about? And I'm telling you, like men in society. It's not just an average person. Like saying I lost. Like somebody came up to me and said I lost 25 pounds. I saw your journey and and what you've been doing and stuff. And I've tried to be like very transparent with it. I talk about my stretch marks. I talk about everything. Like, because I mean, at the end of the day, like I don't see the big deal, and I feel like we need to, again, the vulnerabilities that we as women face. Like we feel we need the standard of beauty, and we have to live up to it. And I've considered, oh, like do my breasts, if I lose them, would I, like, there's so many things to consider, when you're going through this process, and I see Jade rolling her eyes, because I mean, that's a reality. And I feel like my followers, in as much as they may say I inspire them, like they inspire me in
Mhm.
so they inspire me to continue to be authentic. They inspire me to be very transparent. They inspire me, they motivate me. Like I have really bad days sometimes. Like really, really bad days. Like yesterday, I had a really, really, really bad day yesterday. And one of my followers sent me a message, like a random message, like just saying hi. I love your work. I love what you're doing. And like it took me, like
Also,
they didn't know I was going through it, but just those things. So I feel like, when we talk about gender, we tend to kind of just put women and put them on a pedestal, like it's just women, but men are going through stuff as well. And I think all the work that we do in terms of leading, like we have to lead not just men or women, like lead people, trying to lead people in the right way. And which is why I feel like this is such an amazing project. And I want to congratulate all of you, for y'all are amazing delegates. And I want to get Rihanna's perspective on what stood out to you most, about these first. I see you shaking your head and shaking, I'm gonna come and poke you, right? What really stood out, after hearing, from all of them, what are some of their perspectives that really, really stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone here have very unique and different life journeys, from nation to nation. So the wisdom that's among us is so valuable, even the connection between language and culture, and how do we create cross culture dialogues such as this as well. Like, how can we do this in Dominica and in other communities? And I think the mindset of everyone here is just enriching and refreshing, to be honest. It's not like everyone's thinking the same. We all have different perspectives because of the journeys that we've been on. So, yeah, I think it's been really interesting to learn more about their work. There's things that I didn't even know about them that they've shared this evening. So it's been really like fruit for thought, to be honest. And yeah, I think the conference is in good hands. I think their study tour that they're on are in good hands because they'll have very thought-provoking questions to ask some of the sites that they're going to see, I'm sure, and
Yeah.
definitely will pay it forward as well.
Where's everyone going to? Tell us, give us a little run. Where are you going to, Lizra, since we had you last?
going to Grenada.
First
Quite
time or
third time.
third time? Third time. And Leonard, where are you going? Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
Sorry, that was me. That
Yeah.
was me. I'm going to Bahamas.
Going to Bahamas. Jade,
Jamrock.
Jamrock, Jamrock. Are you guys happy? Where are you going to, Daniel?
Bermuda.
Wow.
Bermuda.
Oh, nice.
Pray for me. I hope I don't get lost.
In the triangle. I have, you know what? I have a friend who lives in Bermuda. Actually, the person who gave me my very first, who offered me my very first supervisory position, she lives in the Bahamas. So Danielle connect because I think she's Canadian, so I think y'all will get along just fine. But she lives in the sorry, Bermuda. She lives in Bermuda. Yeah, but are you guys happy about where you're going, and what are you looking forward to doing most when you're in the different islands? Daniel.
It'll be my first time in Bermuda, so I'm very excited. One of my best friends from high school was from there as well, so I always wanted to go. My subtopic is going to be policy reform and advocacy. And I thought that was very interesting. It was not my first pick actually, but I feel like it's fitting. So I'm excited to learn about that some more, especially, policy change management. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
To learn about
Jade.
that.
So fun fact, Jamaica was what made me take being a creative seriously. My experiences there, and so going back in this capacity is amazing, and finding out that we are going to be speaking with like the Minister of Culture and learn about entertainment. I was like, oh, okay,
Right.
perfect.
Yes, wonderful. Leonard.
So I am excited. It'll be my first time in the Bahamas, and my subtopic is diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think if I remember correctly, that was my third option when I was applying. So it's going to be a huge learning curve for me.
Wow, 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 wonderful. Lizra.
Yes, similar to Leonard, Grenada was my third option. I wanted innovation, but one of the good things about it is that we get to learn from all of the topics.
Yes.
But what's interesting for me is that our group, we get to go to Carriacou, and we know that Carriacou was affected similar to Dominica. So as I'm so interested in resilience and building back and stronger and all of these as well, and looking for opportunities for the progressive mind in any way possible so that we can impact lives. I'm really excited about this trip to Carriacou and the lessons that we learn. So maybe, Jael, hopefully we can have a debriefing at some point. I mean, Rihanna,
Well,
take
I suspect we need 2 hours, because I mean, this was supposed to be an hour. We're an hour and 30 already. And not that it's not interesting conversation. I think there's so much more I want to ask, but we will be here until midnight if I continue to ask. So I would, of course, time once we are available, because I'm kind of sort of majority of June. I'm kind of not on much for June. I don't think I only have 4 shows for the entire month of June. But if that changes, I would definitely like to have you guys back on and to share on your experiences, to share on your lessons learned, to share on like what you feel like you need to do moving forward, what you're ready to do moving forward. Say hi to Wes Hall for me. Whoever is actually meeting. I actually met him on a call, but never in person. So it would have been,
I
you know,
used to work for. I actually worked for him for 3 months.
you did.
I actually worked for him, so I was very excited to see him part of this project as well.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
He's like the I almost said he's like the Donald Trump of Toronto, but Donald Trump in his other capacity, not the new Donald Trump.
We'll see. We'll see. Have you read his book?
Who
West
West?
Hall. West Hall.
No, I haven't. I haven't.
Get the audio book. It's
It's really
good.
good.
Yeah, Jamaican, just like Caribbean man.
Yeah, I mean, I know his story. I know a little
You
bit of
know
his
his
story.
story. Yeah.
And he's also, I believe, him and Trey were in the same circles, and I worked for Trey for quite some time. So it would have that's where the crossovers were, where I would end up in meetings, where he was involved. So yeah, I mean, I wish you guys all the best. I'm interested to hear more about, and if those of you want to just reach out one on one and tell me, well, Lisa, I'm always in touch with. Jade every now and again. Daniel kind of fell off the continent for a little bit, just for a minute. Leonard, you're new, so I mean, you can make me your new BFF, and let me know, what's going on in terms of your progress and what you're liking the most. And I'm looking forward to hearing about everything, and what comes out of this for you, or what would have come out of this for you once you've completed. So Rihanna, when is the event? When does it start? When does it run to? And how can we as Dominicans, how can we support the delegates?
Yeah, so the conference, it starts this Thursday actually, and it ends on the 1st of June. So you're like their last media engagement until after the conference, which is quite nice. But yeah, I think how people can support the delegates and the conference as a whole. Well, if you would like to sponsor, it's not too late, because we have our own tours. We've also been doing a bit of fundraising as well to accommodate for additional costs. So in terms of Dominica, we have an engagement on the tour that could really do some in-kind sponsorship. So please reach out. Small businesses, micro businesses, it doesn't matter the size. We can work something out. So yeah, please contact me and make it happen. And then the other thing is, I would like to connect the delegates with other change makers in Dominica, so that can also expand their local professional networks, even more so. So if anyone feels like they can provide some wisdom, open doors for our delegates, then yeah, let's let's have a conversation and book something in, because that is something I'm also working on in the background as well.
Wonderful. I just want to head to the comments for a little bit. Most people were just watching, but some people were saying good night and greetings and good night, and people putting up their hands and saying hi, Tamara Lowe and Tara and all of the other folks who are on. A lot of folks were just viewing, simply viewing, and I think sometimes we don't have nothing to ask, right? When it's conversation of that nature, it's like, what do
Right.
you ask? Because some for some people it's the very first time they even hearing about this event. And I just want to wish you guys all the best. I'm looking forward to seeing and meeting the folks when they
Yeah.
come to Dominica, the group that comes to Dominica. Be safe, especially you, Danielle, because we're going to Bermuda Triangle. Just be safe. Uh, well, I should probably tell Jade to be safe too. But she went to school there, so she had custom. She
I've
could
been to Bermuda 4 times and I'm still alive. You
Oh,
good?
no,
okay,
I'm
well,
talking about Jamaica. I'm
No,
talking
I
about
know. I was just giving Daniel some reassurance, but yeah, Jamaica. I mean, it's spicy. Yeah, I'll be fine. I learned how to fight there, so
you learn how to fight. Eh?
I was very naive as an island girl. I wasn't aware, but I learned.
Well, enjoy all of the experiences that's going to come out of this. Enjoy getting to know the different cultures. Enjoy getting to know people. And of course, enjoy sharing in the content and in the whatever you will grab from this. Just make it an enjoyable moment. Rihanna says it's not a vacation, but have fun. Have fun.
Sure. I'm not saying don't have fun,
We'll try.
After all, you're on an island.
But I want to give you guys an opportunity to, if you have any final words, you can shoot. I will end with Rihanna. We'll start with Lizra. Final words.
Well, if you ever get an application, somebody send you something, fill out the application and give it your best. You never know what comes from it. And just like in all points of life, things may seem like it's not working out, but everything works together for good. So have no fear, and God will help.
Thank you very much, Lizra. Leonard.
Yeah, just to piggyback off what Lizra said, I would always encourage everyone to shoot for the stars. You never know where you would end up.
Yes, thank you, Leonard. Jade.
You guys, and by saying this, the Caribbean doesn't need saving. It just needs space to create, to lead, and to thrive on its own terms.
Daniel.
believe in yourself, shine your light, keep learning, because then the L becomes silent, and pursue every kind of opportunity you can get for growth.
I like that.
L becomes silent. You go, shall we? Budgie. L becomes silent. Yes. I like them silent L's in that word. Yeah.
I like that. Profound.
I'm gonna take that. That's gonna be my caption tomorrow on social media.
Take it. Yes.
Thank you very much for that, Daniel. Rihanna.
So I would say, hopefully, the delegates walk away with, new skills, new knowledge. But it also depends on how much they put into participating in the 10-day experience. So stay curious, increase your cultural awareness, ask questions, and stay blessed. Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. Yay.
Yes, yes,
Can I
yes.
be the team?
People putting it up, I see in the comments. Fantastic Four. So
Yes.
let's go.
Well,
I want to be the team.
But it's four.
Five. You used to
Including Rihanna.
Who's Mr. Stretch?
Wonderful. All the best to all of you. I wish you guys
Thank you.
wonderful. Just a
you.
really wonderful event. All right, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Bye bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Bye. All right, guys. That's it. That's where we wrap up for this evening. It was wonderful having the Fantastic Four along with Rihanna on the show. I guess maybe the Fantastic Five, right? We're just making the Fantastic Five. And sharing a little bit about, or sharing a lot about, the Caribbean Leaders Dialogue that's happening starting this Thursday. And I just want to, encourage you to, like Lisa said something very important. When things come in your inbox, don't be shy of applying, And when you apply, give it your all, give it your best, especially if you want it. right? Especially if you want it. Not everybody wants it. Some people sometimes just do it just to fill in the blanks. But give it your best, when if you decide to do it. And thanks to Rihanna for organizing this. And Rihanna was really in everybody's inbox, really getting people to participate in this. And kudos to her for really pushing for this, in a huge way. And I want to encourage every single one of you on here to, to keep supporting each and every one of the Fantastic Four's initiatives, whatever they're doing. These are future Caribbean leaders. And we want to make sure that we continue to show them love, show them support, and reach out to them, tap into them. Liz is out of work now. I don't know if she's looking. I don't know if she's looking, like looking. She's saying she's looking. But like, I mean, how can Lisa be out of work? Like, that not making no sense. Like, don't you know who Lisa is? Like, come on. Like, according to Suki, who does that? Like, so I want to encourage y'all. Encourage everyone. To really focus on these young people, these people who are movers and shakers and really innovators in our island, and really give them the support that they need. I want to say thank you very much to my sponsors, the National Cooperative Credit Union. Thank you very much for your support. Perky's Pizza. Of course, I want to big up Samaj, my producer, who puts this. Let me tell you, all I literally have to do is come on here and talk. That's it. That's all I have to do. He lets me know who the guests are, who they're, and he does a wonderful job. And I truly appreciate that. That among the other things that he does do for me, because he is my executive assistant as well. Right? Multiple hats. But I feel like he gets paid well. I feel so much. Tell me if you're not getting paid well. If he wasn't getting paid well, he would have left a long time. Thank you very much, Samaj. Samaj is actually celebrating his birthday on Thursday. So happy birthday in advance to you, Samaj. Celebrating your birthday on Thursday. I'll reach out happy birthday again tomorrow. Tomorrow we got a show, another show tomorrow. We got Brenton Hillier is going to be stopping by. We're going to be talking to him. He is a motivator extraordinaire. I heard him speak at something at the Dominica State College recently, and like I was supposed to be somewhere else, and I was just like stuck. Like, I was crazy to the seat, and I couldn't move because he put a spell on me. And let me tell you, it was very captivating and very encouraging and very motivating. And I want to encourage you guys to log on tomorrow to the show. We have a new sponsors dropping on tomorrow, so we're excited about that because look like the lights gonna stay on, right? The lights will be stay on just this month, right? Thank you very much, guys, for all of your love and your support. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place, right here on Jael Joseph Live. See ya. Bye.